Kelly Barlow Creations. If you're new to my channel and you're stopping by for the first time, thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. Stick around a while by clicking that red button for more crafting on a budget, more everything on a budget videos to come. And if you click it again when the bell appears, YouTube should notify you every time I'm uploading a new video, depending on the option that you choose in the drop-down menu of the bell. If you're interested in following me on social media, you can find those links, you guessed it, in the description box below. What have I got going on for you for today? Today I am bringing to you a Dollar Tree DIY, a Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIY, where I incorporate my Cricut into the DIY just a bit by using some vinyl lettering. Now, for those of you who don't have a Cricut, there is an alternative to this, so do not click off the video just yet because this is a DIY I think you are gonna love. I love Valentine's Day. I don't typically do a lot of traditional colored Valentine's Day DIYs, but today I am most definitely doing that because this DIY turned out so stinking cute, I can hardly stand it. So let me quit my gabbing. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into it and let's do some Dollar Tree DIYing where we incorporate some vinyl into it. Because why not? It's fun. Alrighty, so getting started, today I will be using 2 of these Dollar Tree Valentine's Day plaques. I love these. They've got these metal embellishments that are great. We're not going to be using them today, but I am going to remove them because they're going to go in my stash because I can very easily use them in another DIY. It's a corrugated metal, and so what a fun embellishment just to keep in our stash. No sense in wasting it. Using some of Dollar Tree spackling. You can find this in the tool section. I'm going to use this to fill in these holes of the plaque because why do we want holes in our plaque if we can fill them? To smooth out the spackling, you can really do it one of 2 ways. Before the spackling dries, once you apply it, you can take a damp sponge and kind of wipe over it to get the excess spackling off, or you can wait for it to dry and you can use a light sandpaper and smooth it out that way. That was the route I went, because I found that sometimes when you use a wet sponge, it takes more of the spackling out of whatever hole it is you're trying to fill, and you don't get as smooth of a finish. And so I prefer to do it this way if I have the time to wait for the spackling to dry. For this DIY, I needed a bit of a bigger plaque, and typically you can find a plaque the size that I'm aiming for here at the Dollar Tree, but I feel like it's hit or miss, and I'm just not seeing one at the Dollar Tree now, and I don't have any in my stash to use, so I'm gonna make one with these 2 plaques here. On the decorative side of these plaques, I'm gonna start off by putting some masking tape. I'm gonna get these plaques good and together, then I'm gonna take some jumbo popsicle sticks and I'm gonna cut them in half because I don't need that long of a stick to hold these plaques together. And so by cutting it in half, it's gonna give me 4 pieces that I can then use some of Aleene's glue to adhere them onto the plaques. Now I used the tape because I feel like when you put the popsicle sticks down, the plaques tend to kind of separate a bit and you get a crack or you get a seam. And if you just take a bit of masking tape or painter's tape and really get those plaques together, you're gonna find that you get a nicer seam when you're trying to make a plaque like I'm making today. I let my sticks dry for about an hour and you can see that the seam in the middle is good and tight. So now I'm gonna paint this, and to paint this, I'm gonna go with Waverly's chalk paint, and I'm gonna use just a nice bright white because this year for my Valentine's Day DIYs, I've definitely got a theme going. If you saw my last Valentine's Day DIYs, the 3-in-1, you will probably recognize the theme that I'm going with. I'm a person who likes themes. Each year I like to come up with a theme and I kind of like to stick with it. I think it makes it fun changing the theme up from year to year, holiday to holiday. And so again, I'm going to put a couple coats of the Waverly paint on this plaque to get the coverage that I'm happy with. For this DIY, I decided to go the vinyl route. You can go a sticker route if you want. And so to do that, I headed on over to Cricut Design Space and I designed the letters and the image that I am going to be applying to this plaque. And the font that I'm using for today's DIY is this Arab bold font. I really like it. I think it's a fun font. And so that is what I am using for the X and the O. For the coffee cup here and the heart, you can head on over to the sidebar here if you are designing this and you are not subscribed to Cricut Design Space, and you can search for a coffee cup. And once you type in that, it's going to bring up all of the images that come up for coffee cup, and this is the one that I found here, but it's one that I'm subscribed to. So if you go back up to the toolbar and you type in hot cocoa mug, you're going to find more images that come up just by simply changing the wording. And there are some really fun mugs here. There are some free ones with the solid vinyl that would work. I am loving some of these. There's an empty one here that is free as well. And here is this mug with the heart that would have worked perfectly as well. By clicking on it, you'll see at the bottom that you can then insert it into Design Space, and you can add the cup, and by pressing on these arrows you can size it to whatever size it is that you want your image to be. And so you can see here again, this was subscribed, but let's try the free one. There's this solid free one, but I like the empty one, so we're going to insert that, and we're going to replace the one that I have in between the X's and O's now with this free one. And so again, I'm gonna size it, get it to the size that I'm happy with. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna go over to the side here for the heart where it says shapes. These are free to use, and you can insert a heart. Again, we're gonna size it. If you go up to the top here, you can change the color, which is something I like to do just to differentiate what vinyls I'm gonna be using. And there, we just did this for free, and you don't have to be subscribed to Cricut Design Space. Once you've got your images to the size that you're happy with, you're gonna go ahead and click Make It, and right now I've got my Joy set up, so we would use the Joy for this, and it's basically gonna walk you through all the steps of making it. If you wanna make multiple of this, you just arrow up, click Apply, and it's gonna distribute your image amongst the mats as to how much you need and how much vinyl you're going to be cutting. And then you're just going to go ahead and continue on with your cut and cutting vinyl. Pretty easy to do, just follow along with me. I went ahead and I cut out the full sheet because I have a ton of vinyl, and so it wasn't something that I was worried about. And for DIY purposes, this day I was really doing a lot of DIYs for Valentine's Day, so I didn't really have the time to cut them individually because I'm batch filming, and that's something that I do often. And so I went ahead and I cut a full sheet just so it would be easier for me to place. Now again, if this is a vinyl sticker pack that you want, Linda has this set up in her Etsy store, so if you want to do this project, you can head on over to her store and you can buy these exact letters, these exact mugs, and you can do this exact project for a very budget-friendly cost. And let me tell you, she is doing free shipping. Once I've got my, paper off the backing of my transfer sheet, I'm gonna go ahead and just place my vinyl on my plaques where I want them to be, and you can see why I did it this way. It was a lot easier. Was there a lot of waste with vinyl? There kind of was, and it kind of stung to do that. But again, I am short on time, and when I am doing batch filming for DIYs, I have to do it in a day or two, and so I just needed to get this done. And so I'm gonna go ahead and take my scraper and scrape over the transfer paper to get that vinyl to stick onto the plaques, and then just very gently I am going to remove the transfer paper. And as you're removing it, you might see that some of the vinyl isn't sticking, so just keep your scraper in hand so you can go back and scrape and really get that vinyl down. And so yes, there is a cup missing here on that second row, and I will tell you that as I was weeding it, it ripped. And so I had the intention of redoing another mug, but I went back, oh wait, before I go back and do the mug, I am gonna put my heart, and I am using a metallic heart for this that I cut out. And so again, I needed to go back and find that mug because I was gonna recut it, but I put my Cricut away and I didn't want to pull it back out again. So I went back to the weeded vinyl and I found the mug. I'm human, I do this, we all do that. And I decided to salvage the mug, and you can see here where it ripped. And I thought, heck, it's vinyl. If I place it down good enough, I should be able to disguise the fact that it was ripped. And I did just that. I saved it. Saved myself from pulling the Cricut out and setting it up again. Can I just say I am obsessed with this gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree. So glad I found it. And I figured that this would be the perfect way to finish off these edges, give it a more finished look and cover up some of the rough edges from the plaque. And so to do that, I just cut some strips and I'm gonna use some hot glue, and I'm just gonna hot glue this ribbon onto the plaque and it'll act like a frame. And it'll give it just such a fun look because it'll be kind of a contrast from the solid black lettering, but it's gonna add some character because it's the black and white gingham. And to hang this, I decided to go with a black solid ribbon as well. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just hot glue this onto the back of the plaque. Now when doing this, I did it in a way that when I flattened the top where the ribbon goes up, it would give it a flat look. And you'll see what I mean by that. After I hot glue the one edge here, I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue the other, but the ribbon isn't straight. It's going to, you can see here how I'm flattening it, and it's gonna come to a point up at the top. I wanted it that way because I feel like it gives it a nicer, cleaner look, and that was the look that I was going for this. And to finish it off, I'm gonna finish it off with a black and gingham bow tied together just to kind of tie in both ribbons, and I'm gonna place it right there at the top. X's and O's and coffee, that screams me. I love coffee, and I gotta tell you, for as long as I can remember, I have always signed my cards XOXO Kelly. And so XOXO has always had a lot of meaning to me. It had a lot of meaning to my mom and to my sister, and so it's just something that I carry on with. And so this DIY carries some meaning for me. It's a fun, adorable DIY. And I did do it incorporating vinyl with my Cricut. Now, of course, there are alternatives if you wanted to minus out the coffee cups, which are the cutest part of this DIY, I think. You very well could just by using simple poster letters at the Dollar Tree, like I said, or you could head on over to Linda's Etsy store. And for those of you who are interested in ordering the vinyl sticker packs, she is offering those to you for free shipping if you live in the US. And for those of you who don't, I do believe that there is a budget-friendly cost involved. I could be wrong. It could be free to you as well. Don't quote me on this. You'll have to head on over to her channel because my specialty is not Etsy. It is creating here on YouTube. But for those of you who do have a Cricut and you just don't like working in design space, but you want the image so you can print and cut it or do whatever you want with it yourself, you can very easily head on over to her Etsy store where you can download the PNG file, and it will download instantly to you where you can cut it out of whatever material it is that you want to, and you'll have access to it forever so you can use it multiple times if you want. You can do multiple of this DIY if you wanted to, if you like it enough. I absolutely love the way this DIY turned out, and I love working with vinyl because it is such an easy way to add lettering or a phrase to a DIY, and I think it just opens up more doors for DIYing. Now, this is not something that I'm going to be bringing to you all the time, but it is something I am going to be incorporating into my channel just a bit more for those of you who don't have a Cricut but would still like to do these DIYs. I hope you all enjoyed today's Dollar Tree DIY of this X's and O and coffee plaque. I love it. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and let's get this video to, you guessed it, 5,000 likes, because like I always say, each and every one of those thumbs up and those comments that you do leave down below, they really do help my channel to grow, and it helps YouTube to notice me just a bit more. Until next time, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy crafting on a budget. Stay happy, stay safe, stay healthy, but most of all, stay positive, and bye for